every day's a grind day. 120 on the highway. You know every day's a grind day. 120 on the highway.
The best live show on planet Earth tonight. I guarantee it.
120 on the highway. I trapping, you know every day's a grind day. Doing by 120.
Not if something happens this weekend. Justin Gaethje's a monster. Justin Gaethje is a monster. He's a monster. He's a terrifying individual.
120 on the highway.
Every time I walk out here, I question everything on purpose. I think they're better than me. I think they're working harder than me.
Justin Gaethje is arguably the most entertaining UFC fighter, whose fighting style always delivers fireworks in the octagon. This fighter lives up to his nickname, the Highlight, by delivering the most iconic fights in UFC history. Justin earned this nickname because he's known for picking people up and slamming them down. All 10 of his fights in the UFC have resulted in performance bonuses, 2 of which were recognized as Fights of the Year. There is no dull fight involving Gaethje. Each of his bouts has been a spectacle that kept the viewers on the edge of their seats.
An opportunity was going to arise and someone was going to have to take it.
Now we'll take a closer look at Justin Gaethje, analyzing his origins, his rise through the UFC ranks, and the potential of this killer's future.
I never thought that I would be an MMA fighter for a career. I have a human services degree. I want to be a social worker.
Gaethje started wrestling with his twin brother back home in Safford, Arizona, when they were 4 years old. As the parents remembered, the boys began fighting before they could walk.
We've had couches broken, beds broken. I can't tell you how many things were broken in our house.
Finding suitable partners with each other.
We definitely fought a lot. I know we gave my parents a lot of headaches.
To keep the house safe from the energetic twins, the father took his sons to sports clubs, wrestling, and football.
We'd move the furniture around, and my dad, he would just sit back and watch us duke it out in front of him.
About then the babysitter walked in. I was like, sorry, but I gotta go to work.
Gaethje's mother recalls her kid chasing a dog that bit him and biting the dog back when he was only 2 years old. Interestingly, the backflips this athlete does after a victory in the octagon are a relic of his childhood. He often jumped off their home roof onto a trampoline and into backflips. His mother was a postmaster, while his father was a copper miner who retired in September 2019 after 36 years working at the Morenci mine. Following his father's footsteps, Gaethje spent a summer at the Morenci mine when he was 18. I worked 7 days a week, 12 hours every day. I did it for 3 months straight and took 1 sick day because I had to sleep. I did 96 hours 1 week. The highlight revealed to Brett Okamoto of ESPN in 2020. When Gaethje was about to leave the mine to attend university, he was told by 2 of his co-workers that he'd never make it to college and that he'd be right back at the mines. Those words motivated Justin to prove them wrong by making a success of himself. Based on his fighting style, one would assume Justin had a boxing history. But who would have guessed that this athlete began wrestling at the age of 4 and went on to have moderate success in the art? The highlight attended Safford High School, where he was a 4-time finalist and 2-time state champion.
Although I've worked hard since I was 4 years old, and hindsight, yes, I've always been, on this path to fight.
He still holds the 7th most near falls and the 9th most team points scored in the state's history as a wrestler. After graduating with a 191-9 wrestling record, Gaethje joined the NCAA Division I program with the help of the University of Northern Colorado. He had 18-1, 14-4, and 17-8 records throughout his college seasons. Furthermore, he was second at the NCAA Western Regional Championships in his senior year, and in 2020, the university included him in its Athletics Hall of Fame. As a freshman at the University of North Colorado, Justin was introduced to MMA by his wrestling friends. Considering that wrestling is one of the crucial bases of MMA,
Force with force, you know, if you're gonna get hit, you better be coming forward.
he managed to transition to MMA effortlessly.
Justin Gaethje's a monster. Justin Gaethje is a monster. He's a monster. He's a terrifying individual.
Although Gaethje made his professional debut on August 20th, 2011, he wasn't a stranger to this sport, considering that he amassed a 7-0 amateur record. He had one of the most spectacular debuts in MMA history, winning his first fight via KO due to a slam that would make even Rampage Jackson jealous. That victory aged well, since his first opponent, Kevin Kroom, was not just an average fighter, but a UFC material competitor who signed with the promotion in the following years. Fighting on the local circuit in Arizona and Colorado, Justin earned an undefeated MMA record of 7-0, winning 6 contests before the final bell.
Who's next? Who's next? Where's my equal at? That's what I want to meet. I want to meet him right now.
The most notable victory during that run was over the UFC veteran Drew Fickett, who was viciously cawed by the highlight only 12 seconds into the first round. Gaethje stepped up in competition on December 2nd, 2012, when he was signed by the World Series of Fighting.
Would you call this the biggest fight of your career?
Yeah, up to this point, I would say, you know, every fight that I'm in right now is going to be the biggest fight, you know, for the last 4 fights that I've taken. So, you know, something I'm really excited for, been looking forward to, and yeah, it's just, I'm ready.
Making his debut for the promotion on March 23, 2013, against Gaethje Cavalcante. The Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt lost that bout due to a cut above his eye.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, especially the cut was on the head, it's not on the eye. It's not like a dangerous place to stop the fight, you know.
Earning Gaethje his first victory in the organization.
Your winner and still undefeated, Justin Gaethje.
Although his debut victory was not as impressive as he expected, he quickly reminded everyone that he was a force to be reckoned with.
That's always the game plan. Bell rings, you move forward, don't take a step backward. That's what I do.
In his next bout against Brian Cobb, he knocked his opponent in a crow cop style by delivering nasty leg kicks in the 3rd round, forcing the referee to stop the fight.
And that's why he's not going for the dig guns anymore. And now he's got to keep checking him, and he can't go anywhere. He's saying that's it. That is it.
After finishing Joe Luzon's brother Dan with a vicious uppercut in the 2nd round.
And here was the end. Gaethje getting it done, and the TKO. Justin Gaethje standing by with our Joey Varner.
The highlight was scheduled to fight for the inaugural WSOF Lightweight Championship against Richard Patishnock. This time, Gaethje needed only a minute to end the fight.
It's the fence, and he is in trouble. Patishnock trying to hang on very early here. Gaethje has done it. Gaethje has done it.
And become the WSOF Lightweight Champion.
New World Series of Fighting Lightweight Champion of the World, Justin the Highlight.
He successfully defended his title against the one-armed warrior, Nick Newell, who was no match for Justin's superior fighting style.
Oh, yeah, look at that, with strikes. He's got the attention of Gaethje. Quick trip.
He went on to beat the UFC veteran Melvin Gillard on the judges' score.
Still the undefeated World Series of Fighting Lightweight Champion of the World, Justin.
Even though Gillard weighed way over the lightweight limit. In 2015, Gaethje faced Luis Palomino, beating him brutally with leg kicks and punches in the 3rd round.
Tends to go backwards, and that's something he can't do here. Gaethje took a big shot there already.
To close the Luis Palomino chapter forever, he rematched the Peruvian fighter within the same year. Palomino had nothing for Gaethje again, who beat him even more convincingly than in their first fight, finishing the Peruvian with punches in the 2nd round. In his next bout, the highlight faced the UFC veteran and finisher, Brian Foster. Before the fight with Gaethje, Foster held an impressive record of 26-8, finishing 25 of his opponents.
He's obviously trained this, but he's much more adept with
Then he goes for the triangle and he's trying. Look, and he'll lock it. It's locked. The triangle is locked and he ducked.
However, Justin was not afraid to stand and bang with the dangerous kickboxer. He used his vicious leg kicks as the primary weapon to neutralize his opponent's attacks before finishing him early in the first round.
Left side with the kicks, and there's yet another kick to the back of Foster's knee. And then Gaethje continues to press the action once more. Looking, there's the kick that puts him down and ends the fight.
His last title defense for WSOF was against Luis Firmino. The Brazilian fought well, but his eye could not withstand Justin's pressure. Gaethje successfully defended his title after the doctor stopped the contest due to Firmino's swollen eye.
Back in Madison Square Garden in the theater, the doctor's going to come in and take a look at that right eye of Luis Firmino. Dan Mergliotti has told the corners multiple times he wants to take a look at it. Safety first.
On May 4th, 2017, Gaethje vacated his WSOF title and signed with the UFC, which proved to be the right decision that gained him the fame and reputation he enjoys today.
It was like when I go to the cage, you know, this guy, he hit like truck, you know, like nobody hit harder than Justin Gaethje.
By the time Gaethje signed with the UFC, he was already a forged warrior with elite-level skills to compete with the best. His promotional debut was not a walk in the park, considering that he was matched against the very dangerous Michael Johnson. Before their fight, Johnson made derogatory comments about Justin's family.
Did your mom have sex with her brother to have you, or was it your cousin or something? Because you're the most inbred piece of shit I've ever seen in my life.
Infuriating him to the point that he was determined to finish him in the fight as a punishment. Sure enough, that fight did not disappoint. Gaethje entered that bout as a man possessed, trying to take Michael's head off with strikes. Johnson went toe-to-toe and accepted the brawl by delivering some good combinations of his own.
How about the hand speed for Johnson?
So fast, and it really starts with his feet.
As the fight went on, both fighters were visibly tired by the second round.
Well, Gaethje certainly took Johnson's best shot and is still standing. The crowd on their feet here in Las Vegas.
And it was clear that this contest would not see the judges' scorecards. After a back-and-forth battle for the ages, Michael could not withstand Gaethje's pressure, who went after him with a combination of punches and knees, forcing him to hit the floor.
It's an instant classic no matter what happens. A leg kick. Johnson's legs are shot.
The referee had seen enough and stopped the fight.
Can Johnson survive? That's it. He cannot. Justin Gaethje with his ultimate highlight.
Earning Gaethje his first UFC victory. That fight was wild and kept fans on the edge of their seats. The highlight made a statement that UFC is his new home and there is a new sheriff in town.
Declaring the winner by TKO, Justin the Highlight Gaethje.
Not only did this fight earn him a Fight of the Night and a Performance of the Night award, but it was also named a Fight of the Year. Although he lost his next bouts against elite fighters like Eddie Alvarez and Dustin Poirier, the highlight won the fans' hearts and respect by never backing down and delivering fireworks in both contests.
Look at this, Eddie's got his back.
As previously mentioned, Gaethje's background is in wrestling, and he could have used his wrestling credentials to neutralize those fights by mixing striking with wrestling and winning by decision.
He stops Justin Gaethje in his tracks tonight.
However, the highlight preferred to stand and bang rather than play it safe. When asked why he did not use his wrestling in the bout against Poirier, Gaethje replied, "I've been wrestling my whole life. I should have and could have taken him down a couple of times, especially when I had him rocked to steal a round or two. For some reason, my mind will not let me do it. I think I sold myself so hard on the fact that this is not wrestling. It gets you tired. If I'm going to get tired, I'd rather it be from fighting and not from wrestling. That's the reason why I never wanted to wrestle." But I did so much cardio this camp that it would not have been a problem for me to turn it into a wrestling match, but I just can't do it. It would not be fun for me. Nevertheless, those 2 losses were a learning experience that would make Gaethje a better fighter with a more cautious approach.
I mean, Poirier hit me with the hell of a... I would say the knee from Alvarez is probably the hardest I've ever been hit. Lost.
That's how you got knocked out.
That was my first loss ever, yeah.
Right.
It was awesome.
Although he remained a pressure fighter, he made some adjustments and became more calculative in his attacks. In his next bout, he returned against James Vick, a fighter with a boxing background. Vick criticized Gaethje's style by calling him the Homer Simpson of MMA.
Yeah, I'm not the Homer Simpson of MMA like you are, bro. I'm not gonna take a beating, but you will get knocked the You take 10 significant strikes per minute. That's 50 shots a round.
Due to his fearless approach to absorbing a lot of punishment, the highlight took that comment personally and was determined to knock Vick out cold.
Yeah, my back was against the wall, but I thrive under those situations. I'm a performer.
Sure enough, Gaethje rebounded from his 2 losses spectacularly, knocking his opponent out cold early in the first round.
Big right from Gaethje, and down goes Vick. Justin Gaethje is back and sticks to...
In the Octagon interview, he admitted that he was bothered by Vick's comments and therefore was glad that he knocked him out.
I take everything personal. I took everything he said personal, and I'm glad I put him to sleep.
Gaethje was scheduled to face one of the best strikers in the whole UFC, Edson Barboza. The Brazilian was a feared kickboxer with the most spectacular highlight knockouts.
And it really poses the question, what do you want to do? Do you want to take a chance and risk getting knocked out? Oh my God! Wow!
And the best chance for Gaethje to win was to use his wrestling to neutralize Barboza's striking superiority. Nevertheless, the highlight had a different plan that night, and that's why fans always love watching his fights. Instead of grappling the Brazilian using his wrestling to tire him out and capitalize on that, he went toe-to-toe with Edson, keeping him on his back foot before viciously knocking him out with a punch in the first round.
Taking some leg damage, these boys. Yeah, Gaethje with some... Oh, he got him with a overhand right. It's over. That is it.
In the same year, he fought the UFC legend Donald Cerrone, who was no match for Justin, and got finished by the end of the first round. Earning Gaethje a new victory and a Performance of the Night bonus. By delivering such outstanding performances in the Octagon, Gaethje was granted a shot at the interim UFC lightweight championship against the bogeyman of the lightweight division, Tony Ferguson. Gaethje took that fight on short notice, and El Cucuy, who was also on a 12-fight winning streak, was the betting favorite. While the standard narrative was that Ferguson's pressure and cardio would be too much for Justin to handle, Gaethje dominated that bout from the beginning until the 5th round, when the referee had seen enough and stopped the fight to prevent Ferguson from receiving any further punishment. Gaethje was scheduled to unify the belt in a fight against the legendary fighter, Khabib Nurmagomedov. Although Justin fought well in the first round, the Russian managed to execute a takedown and catch Gaethje into a deep triangle choke.
Watch his left arm, John. There's a tap. There's the second tap. You know, he tapped 4 times again, and eventually he passed out, and Khabib keeps that championship. What a phenomenal...
The highlight lost the bout, but refused to tap, indicating his toughness, heart, and willingness to die in the octagon. He quickly rebuilt himself and returned to action the following year against the most explosive fighter in the lightweight division, Michael Chandler. After a back-and-forth fight where each of these warriors refused to go down, Gaethje won unanimously.
Winner by unanimous decision, Justin!
Nice, Justin!
This bloody contest earned them a Fight of the Night bonus and was also recognized as a Fight of the Year. This performance earned him another shot at the title against the submission wizard, Charles Oliveira. Despite knocking Oliveira down twice, Gaethje lost the fight via rear naked choke submission in round 1.
Oh my goodness, what just happened? He's going to go to sleep. That is going to do it! This dude right here, man. Charles Oliveira.
There is no shame in losing to the best finisher in UFC history.
He fights the same as I do. We both fireworks from the beginning. You know, I know he's going to try to finish it first round.
Justin Gaethje is scheduled to fight the new rising prospect, Rafael Fiziev. This is one of those fights that will deliver fireworks and excitement, and regardless of the outcome, Justin Gaethje will always be one of the fans' favorite fighters to watch. His exciting fighting style, heart, courage, and determination to finish the opponents before the final bell earned him a reputation as one of the most feared fighters in the UFC. Although he is a superior wrestler who can use those credentials to win a contest, he prefers to put himself in danger and deliver highlights for the ages. Remember, they don't call him the highlight for nothing.